My parents laughed softly and said, "Max, you'll never shine like Cole does." I rose from my chair and answered, "Fine. Then let him cover every expense from now on. I'm done wiring cash." My mother's face froze. "What cash? We've never seen a cent from you." "My name is Max. I'm 28. The eldest, the one who's always prepared, the one who keeps spare chargers and a sealed envelope of emergency 20s in the glove box. I pay my landlord on the first, never late. I arrive 15 minutes early to everything. I haul extra camp chairs to barbecues because someone always forgets. If you asked my parents to sum me up in one word, they'd choose dependable. The second word would be quiet. Cole is my opposite. He's the headline, the former varsity striker, the kid whose grin gets him free appetizers without asking. He's the son they can't stop talking about. Every phone call home becomes a Cole montage. New promotion, new truck, a buddy who's connected in real estate. They repeat it like a charm, as if his glow proves the whole family is winning. I used to call myself the background track while Cole took center stage. The joke wore thin around the time I turned 22, when I was pulling overtime, yet still driving over to reboot their router or change the porch bulb because Dad's back was acting up and Mom refuses ladders. They never asked how my day went. They asked what I could fix. 2 months back, we gathered at their place for Mom's birthday. The air carried bleach and garlic roast. Dad wore his nice collared shirt. Aunt Rita kept fitting with the centerpiece like perfect peonies would raise the property value. I walked in with a carrot cake from the fancy bakery Mom loves, the one with the thick frosting. Cole arrived 20 minutes late carrying nothing but a story about almost bumping into some tech founder. Everyone acted like he'd cured cancer. We took our seats. Mom unwrapped presents. A silk scarf from Aunt Rita. A scented candle from Dad's co-worker's wife. Cole slid over a tiny velvet box. Silver earrings, real ones. He winked, never mentioning whose card paid. Mom gasped like he'd handed her diamonds. I don't know why I thought the cake might earn a thank you. My mistake. Then Dad topped off his glass, glanced my way, and let it slip. "You know, Max, you'll never measure up to your brother." He chuckled like it was light teasing. Mom laughed too. The whole table followed. Cole laughed hardest. I heard a verdict. I set my fork down. Heat crawled up my neck. In my head, I started adding. 11 months of their electric bill last year when Dad's hours got slashed. 31 tank fill-ups for Mom's SUV. 22 transfers marked groceries because Cole was between gigs. I counted like I was breathing. Aunt Rita noticed my silence. "Sweetie, don't take it to heart." I wasn't tearing up. I was calculating. Mom added gently. "We just wish you'd push yourself harder. That's all." I reached for my water. The glass trembled slightly. The old script said, "Swallow it, crack a joke, keep everyone comfortable." That's my role. But then Aunt Rita beamed at Cole and declared, "You really are the rock of this family." Mom nodded. Dad chuckled and said, "Yeah, he's the one we count on." The word count landed like a fist. It struck the part of me that tracks due dates, passwords, filter replacement schedules. I stayed silent. I cleared dishes, packed leftovers, wiped the counter spotless. When I grabbed my coat, Mom hugged me without meeting my eyes and murmured, "Try not to envy your brother so much." On my way out, Cole slapped my back. "It's just banter, bro." Under the flickering porch bulb, I stood with my keys, listening to their laughter leak through the window. My phone buzzed. A new Zelle I'd sent that morning. $42 to Mom. Tagged a few things from the store. Another text lit up. "We love you. Paper towels next visit. We're out." No heart. No thanks. Just another itemized need. I drove home without music. I slid the leftover cake into my fridge, sat on the couch, and opened the folder of receipts I'd quietly saved for years like evidence in a trial that never started. Little green confirmed ticks. $90, $160, $450, $1,100. The numbers swam. Next morning, Dad left a voicemail I let ring out. "Hey buddy, no need for drama. Just family ribbing." I played it twice. Then I opened the banking app and scrolled until my thumb hurt. That night, staring at a transfer labeled Utilities, Urgent, the group chat pinged. "Family dinner Sunday, 6 p.m., don't be late," wrote Mom. Something inside me shifted. It started when I was 21 and believed helping was what decent sons do. January, after an ice storm, Dad rang. Power bill spiked. "Can you float us $120 till Friday?" Friday never came. Neither did the money. But February brought another call. Little short on gas, just till payday. March. Groceries, mom's trying to make it stretch. I was earning $17.50 an hour doing desktop support, living in a studio with a wobbly desk and a secondhand futon. I didn't have much, but I could spare 50 here, 80 there. It felt right to be needed. By 24 it wasn't spot us. It was clockwork. First of every month, $300 utilities. Third Sunday, $80 gas. Random Wednesdays, $40 to $120 food. Roughly $650 monthly for nearly 4 years. Some months it climbed higher. New tires for their car, $480. Water heater, $250 deposit that quietly became $750 total. We'll settle up later. There were also cold crises that weren't crises. Certification exam fee, landlord drama, slow freelance month. Cole always had a tail. I always hit send. Repayment was never discussed. It floated in the air like an unspoken vow. Everything in my family is unspoken, yet perfectly understood. Need, gratitude, obligation. I tried boundaries once. Told Mom I needed to rebuild my own cushion first. She sighed theatrically. Fine, we'll never ask again, happy? 2 weeks later came a grocery list and a single heart emoji. I sent $100. I sent because I remember hunger and because her trembling, just this once, voice still works on me. It wasn't only money. It was weekends spent swapping faucets after 3 YouTube tutorials, driving Cole to interviews, proofreading his resume, letting him use my address when he didn't want mail forwarded again. Packages arrived. His name, his new headphones, his limited edition shoes, while Mom texted photos of empty shelves. Whenever I admitted exhaustion, Dad shrugged. Welcome to being an adult. Whenever I hinted at fairness, Aunt Rita chirped, families aren't balance sheets. Yet the balance sheet lived in my phone. Favoritism wasn't subtle. Cole bought pizza once. Mom bragged for days about her generous boy. I quietly paid 2 months of their mortgage. Mom said, we all pitch in. Father's Day. I reserved a steakhouse and covered the tab. Dad said, you didn't have to. Then immediately asked Cole about a job he didn't actually have. The worst was how they rewrote reality on the fly. Last Thanksgiving, Aunt Rita asked who handled the water heater repair. Mom smiled at Cole. Our boy took care of everything. Under the table, I stared at the $250 plumber charge on my card. I said nothing. Silence is easier than being labeled dramatic. Meanwhile, my own life stayed small. Not destitute, but always one surprise expense away from juggling bills. Skipping dinners out because I'd sent $200 at 4 p.m. for car insurance. Urgent. My savings never grew. Weekend trips with coworkers? I claimed scheduling conflicts. The conflict was a spreadsheet. I used to think they simply didn't grasp the scale. But they knew. Mom would say, you're so stable. And in the same breath, since you're good with finances, Dad time calls for my payday. Cole texted, you're a legend. I'll square up when the check lands. The check never landed. New sneakers did. 3 moments still burn. First, the Christmas I gave Mom a heated throw blanket. She hugged me like I'd handed her a dish rag. Cole gifted a spa day he'd scored free through a friend connection. She cried real tears. Later I found a note by the sink. Max, can you Venmo $150? Rent's short. Second, my own car needed rotors. I had to choose, pay my mechanic or cover their electric. I paid theirs. 3 weeks later, Mom posted date night cocktails. I zoomed until the photo pixelated. Third, the evening of bleach and roast chicken. The you'll never be as good. The laughter, the word rely hitting bone. That night, after their text about paper towels, I scrolled to the very first transfer. January 14th, 2019. $120. Note, till Friday. I kept adding until the total hit $28,940. That's not counting cash, tanks of gas, or the window unit AC I put on my card for rewards I never redeemed. $28,940 could have been a reliable car, a down payment, or peace that doesn't vanish at 3 a.m. I considered printing the list in giant font. I didn't. I brewed tea and sat very still. Dad's voicemail the next day, family jokes, grow up. I realized this wasn't a joke, it was infrastructure. They were the performers, I was the funding. Systems run until someone flips the switch. Right on cue. Cole texted, yo, any chance you can spot me $400 for rent? Rather not stress Mom and Dad. We'll hit you back soon as this deal closes. Muscle emoji. I typed thinking, then deleted. 2 days later Mom wrote, we need you Sunday. Dad ran the numbers. It's rough. Maybe bring the checkbook? Smiley. I screenshotted, didn't reply. Took a personal day, opened a blank document, typed every date and amount for hours. 9 pages. Slid them into a flimsy binder from the dollar store. I wasn't sure why yet, but pretending this was normal was over. Sunday arrived thick and humid. I parked 2 doors down, brought a bag of paper towels because arriving empty-handed forfeits the argument before it begins. Dad answered like I was late for detention. Mom sat with a calculator and a tower of envelopes. Cole lounged against the counter scrolling. Perfect timing, Mom chirped. We were just mapping out a plan. Dad tapped the calculator. Inflation, interest rates, takes a village. We figured equal monthly contributions until we're steady. Equal. Cole repeated, eyes still on his screen. I set the grocery bag down and placed the binder in the center of the table. Before we draft any new plan, can we review the last 4 years? Mom frowned. What's that supposed to be? Records, I said. Every transfer for power, food, repairs, rent. Might have missed a couple. Dad's lips thinned. This isn't the moment to play auditor, son. It's exactly the moment. Mom flipped pages, expression souring. What money? You never sent us anything. The room went perfectly still, like someone had pressed mute on reality. I stayed calm, slid my phone over, banking app open. Dates, amounts, notes. I can pull full statements if you'd rather. Dad shoved the phone back. You're being disrespectful. What's disrespectful is erasing my contribution the second I stop paying. Cole finally looked up. Bro, why turn this into a thing? It's family. Exactly, I said. Family says thank you. Family doesn't pretend the money never existed. Mom's eyes blazed. After everything we've sacrificed for you, you wave receipts in our faces? I'm not waving. I'm reading. I inhaled. My hands didn't shake. You've leaned on me for years, called me reliable, then laughed that I'd never measure up while handing me the tab. Today I'm speaking. Dad leaned in. So what is it you want? A statue. Boundaries, I said. No more automatic transfers. No more emergency pings. Ask up front, accept no when I say it. Cole snorted. Then tell Golden Boy to pick up the slack. I turned to Dad. If I'll never be as good as Cole, let the star carry the load. Mom shot up. Don't you dare turn my sons against each other. You managed that years ago, I answered. The air felt thick, my pulse slow and steady. This isn't revenge. This is me closing an account. Dad's jaw flexed. So you're abandoning us. I'm ending a one-way pipeline. I'm your son, not your ATM. Mom stared at the binder like it might explode. We never forced you. Those were gifts. You wanted to help. I did, I said. And love shouldn't require bankruptcy, financial or emotional. Cole gave a short, bitter laugh. Cool, whatever. I tucked the binder under my arm, nudged the paper towels forward, and walked to the door. Max, Mom called. You don't just walk out on family. I can, I said, fingers on the knob, and I am. The door shut with a clean click. My phone began vibrating before I reached the car. 12 missed calls. Then 20. By the time I got home, 31. I set it face down, cooked spaghetti, ate over the sink staring at the binder like it might bite me. When I finally looked, 47 new messages. Mom, you're mixed up, come talk. Dad, you owe us a conversation at minimum. Aunt Rita, money isn't love, sweetheart. Cole, feeling like a hero now? I replied to none. Turned off notifications, scrubbed the sink, slept at 9:30 like the dullest revolutionary alive. I slept 9 hours. Monday the rewrite machine kicked into gear. Cousin, heard you lost it at dinner. You okay? Grandma left a 2-minute sigh on voicemail. Dad posted a group text about ingratitude and forgetting your roots. Mom shared a vague book about children forgetting parental sacrifice, praying hands emoji. I screenshotted every version of history as it flipped like cards. At work, I backed up the binder to the cloud, then did one small enormous thing. Canceled 3 recurring transfers. Utilities. Gas. Groceries. The app asked, confirm? I confirmed. My ribcage felt hollow and airy at once. The calls kept coming. Mom left voicemails alternating tears and negotiation. We can start over. Maybe $300 a month is fair? Dad tried reason. We're a team. Everyone contributes. Cole sent an actual Venmo request, $400, note, rent, last time FR. I hit decline. He sent a single question mark. I left it on read. Midweek, Aunt Rita begged for coffee, swore no ambush. It was an ambush. She hugged me with lavender powder smell, then launched the script I'm sure she practiced in the parking lot. Don't torch everything over a misunderstanding. Which part was the misunderstanding? I asked. She smiled the smile adults give toddlers. You humiliated them. They feel attacked. They felt attacked by addition and subtraction, I said. She sighed. You know your mom. She panics. She forgets. So gratitude only counts if I never document it. Her eyes narrowed. You're being harsh. I'm being precise. I paid for my own coffee and left. By Friday, the tone shifted to summons. Group chat, family meeting Sunday. I typed, I won't be attending. Sent before cowardice could delete. Mom fired back instantly. So you're above us now? Dad, don't forget who raised you. Cole, always knew you were jealous bro sad face. I muted the chat, made a grocery list of only things I actually wanted. Fresh raspberries. Good pasta. Wild salmon. The expensive Greek yogurt I always skip because it's extra. I bought it. Ate it straight from the container with the big spoon. Small rebellions followed. I scheduled an automatic transfer to my own savings on the exact dates I used to bleed out. Watching $300 land in my account on the first felt like opening a window in a room I didn't know was stuffy. I finally booked the dentist I delayed. I called a therapist and said the sentence. I need help separating guilt from duty. She replied, I hear that one daily. At night, the urge to send a long, measured manifesto throbbed. I drafted 20 versions and deleted them all. Explaining to people determined not to hear is just theater. I was tired of performing. Still, the ache surprised me. I missed the family I kept trying to buy with silence and transfers. There were real memories in the mess. Mom's soup when I had fever, Dad showing me how to rotate tires, Cole and me laughing over dumb memes at 2 a.m. It's easier to keep paying a tax when you label it love. 2 weeks in, the calls thinned. The guilt didn't, but it grew quieter. Then the public campaign began. A neighbor forwarded Mom's post. Parenting is heartbreaking when kids forget everything you poured into them. Some only see $signs. Flood of prayer emojis. Cole posted new sneakers with the caption, built different. I almost laughed out loud. I started running again. Not for drama, just needed somewhere to put the static. 3 miles became 5. I listened to a podcast that said, a complete sentence is no. Period. I practiced in the mirror until it stopped sounding foreign. 3rd Sunday, the day I used to send gas money, I drove past the house out of muscle memory. Parked a block away. Watched through the window. 3 heads around the table, my usual chair empty. Loss and lightness twisted together. That's grief, I guess. Next day, an unknown number. Dad's coworker's wife. Your parents are really struggling. No, I said. She kept talking. I hung up mid-sentence and felt fine. A week later, a collections notice addressed to them landed in my inbox because my address was still linked. Past due $312. Olmi would have paid it silently. I forwarded it with the subject, this one's yours. Mom replied, why are you punishing us? I typed and deleted 20 replies. Closed the laptop. Went for a run. When I returned, 1 new email. From Cole. Subject, real talk. Body, we all know you're loving this power trip. Always wanted to play the martyr. Enjoy the win. Anger arrived late, but clean. I replied with 1 line. I wanted to be seen as your brother. He never answered. That night, I made a rule that sounds ridiculous typed out. No opening banking apps after 9 p.m. Nothing in there can fix my family at 9:01. I put my phone across the room and slept. Here's what I understand now. I can love them and still refuse to fund their fantasy. I can be reliable without being a floor mat. I can say no and refuse to cushion it for their comfort. I don't owe anyone my exhaustion. I don't owe anyone my safety net. I don't owe anyone the version of me that keeps their world spinning while mine stalls. I'm not wiring money anymore. Not out of spite. Sometimes I'm furious, sometimes I'm not. Not to watch them hurt, I don't want that. But because I'm finished acting like this was ever sustainable. If someday they ask respectfully, transparently, ready to hear no, I'll decide then. If they guilt, rewrite, or vilify my boundaries, the answer is the simplest word I own, no. The binder sits on the top shelf of my closet. I rarely open it. It's not a weapon or a trophy. It's proof I'm not insane. When doubt whispers, I flip to any page, read 3 lines, close it again. The numbers already did their work. Mom and Dad still text sometimes. Pictures of the dog, weather updates. They never say thank you for the years I carried them. Maybe they never will. That's their chapter. Mine is different now. It still starts with my name is Max, but it no longer ends with quiet and reliable. It ends with self-respect. I have new rituals. Sunday mornings are long runs and blueberry pancakes. First of the month is money moving into my future. Third Sundays are brunch with friends I no longer cancel on. The binder stays closed. If I could go back and hand 21-year-old me one sentence, it would be this: love should never come with an invoice. And here's the promise I keep to myself, short and unbreakable. No one gets to turn my care into an endless tab again.